Good morning, everyone. I hope you remember we were going through a story and we'll continue the same. I'm sure you all have the small book with you, right? Okay, we were doing the first story, A Midsummer Night's Dream, and it's a beautiful story again written by Shakespeare. Let's continue from page number 2. In her despair, she went to her lover Sandro for help and comfort. I hope you remember that this girl, they were supposed to marry your Prince Theseus and Queen Hippolyta of Amazon. She was the queen of Amazon. So they were getting married in 4 days. And by the time when they were busy in the preparations for the marriage, who enters in? Eugenius, right? He had a daughter, Hermia. Now, Hermia, he had a problem that he really wanted her to marry Demetrius. However, she was in love with Lysander, right? She was in love with Lysander, and Demetrius was actually loved by Hermia's best friend, Helena. So there was a kind of a confusion here. That is what you need to understand. Please don't mix up the names. I've written them here so that it would be easy for you to understand. Now, when I'll proceed to the part where the magician enters in, or the queen of fairies enter in, then of course I'll change these names and I'll write those names here so that you'll understand how the story goes on. I hope you remember the story. We've done it in the previous video. This story is about who? This girl, Hermia. She actually ran away with her lover, Lysander. Okay, let's see what happens then. Now we have done the reading till page 2, where this girl is actually brought into the court by her father, and her father is going to complain that she's not willing to marry the one whom he feels is suitable for his daughter. So let's see what happens after that. In her despair is sadness, being hopeless, she went to her lover Lysander for help and comfort, and together they planned a way of escape. Lysander had a wealthy aunt, a childless widow, who lived at a place somewhere 20 miles from Athens, okay, and beyond the reach of the Athenian laws. Now remember, Lysander, he had an aunt, she was a widow and childless, right? She was pretty wealthy and she lived 20 miles away from Athens. Please remember that, okay? Learn the basics as well. And of course, the place where she lived, this law was not at all followed there. We can go to her house, said Lysander, and be married there. Tomorrow night, creep secretly from your father's house and come to that familiar wood 3 miles away. Wood means a forest. So finally, he decided that tomorrow night you can do one thing. We'll meet in the forest where we used to play as children. There I will meet you. So that means they were in love since childhood, right? While they were while they were planning thus, Helena joined them. Now Helena was Hermia's best friend. So these three are together. Now they were planning to run away and she also joined them. She was listening to them. Simple. Okay. And since she was Hermia's dear friend, the two of them told her their plan. Of course, she was the best friend, they never doubted her. And that is why they told her the plan. But Helena, instead of keeping it to herself, foolishly told the secret to Demetrius. Now, she was actually a fool. She was in love with him and she wanted him to know that Hermia and Lysandra are running away. Now she actually wanted to see him, to be with him, and that's why she went to him. Now the whole problem is created here. So what she did this in the hope that Demetrius might follow Hermia to the woods, and she herself intended to go and look for him there. Now she wanted him to go to the woods to look for her, and so that she could accompany him, right? Now the woods which these four were to visit was the home of elves and fairies, lovely creatures in human shape. right? Who played and made merry all night in the beautiful open spaces of the wood. Of course, the wood or the forest where they were supposed to meet and run away, that was a place where these fairies and elves lived, right? Okay, Oberon and Titania, their king and queen. So we already know now. So here, Oberon and Titania, right? They were the king and the queen, were angry with each other. And at their quarreling, the elves and fairies ran and hid for fear. Now, of course, king and queen, they were fighting with each other, and because of their fight, the elves and the fairies, they got scared. They ran away and they hid. The cause of their quarrel was a little boy whom the queen had stolen from his nurse. So, okay, now the reason for this quarrel or the fight was the young boy who was actually stolen by the queen from his nurse. Titania was bringing him up into in the woods so as a servant boy to attend to her. She wanted him to be her slave. Okay, Oberyn wanted the boy for himself, but Titania would not part with him. Now there was the fight over this boy, right? On the night during which the lovers were to meet in the woods, Titania and Oberyn, with their company of fairies, uh, had also met and were quarreling about the boy. Now it was the same night when two things were taking place. One, the king and the queen, they were fighting over a boy. Two, these people, they even planned to meet there. Lysandra and Hermia, they were supposed to meet, and Demetrius and Helena were supposed to go and look for them. Okay? Now, Orbin tried to persuade Titania to give him the child. Persuade, you understand? Convince, right? But she refused. Now, when they parted again, means when they went on their own ways angrily, Oberyn planned a way of forcing her to agree to his wish. Of course, they were fairies and elves, they knew some of the magic, and that's what they used. King, what he did, he thought of a plan. He planned to play some trick on his queen, right? Now we'll continue from there, the rest of the part in the next video. Thank you.